everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to another start to finish layout. Now I have to say something. I have had 3 cups of tea and I tell you what, I am running all over the place, so bear with me. I know I'm hyper because I feel hyper, but I'm excited because I'm going to sit here and play with some supplies. And I tell you what, scrapbooking supplies mixed with caffeine, yes, come to mama. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Can't get enough of it. Okay, so what I'm doing today, not only is this a start to finish layout, it is a special start to finish layout because this is going to be part of the Multi-Photo Monday series here on YouTube. Absolutely. So Becky at My Creative Life said, could you pop in this week and do a layout with the rest of the gang? I'm like, yes, don't ask me twice. I will be there. Yes, because Becky and Laura and Dollie and Lisa do this series on Monday, and it's called Multi-Photo Monday, and the links will be below for each one of these gals. And if you like doing a layout with more than 2 photos, yes, you need to check that out. And not only check it out, subscribe to each one of their channels and hit the notification bell because, yes, lots of inspiration coming your way. Now, what I'm going to do for my multi-photo layout is I'm absolutely going to do a 2-page spread with an insert. Yes, because I have 12 photos here and I think I'm going to be using every one of them. And so you just can't do that on a 1-page. No. So it's going to be a 2-page with an insert because I wanted to talk about that. And it's something I do, and I'll talk more about that when I talk about photos. So what am I going to play? Because, you know, I have my formula of my photo sketch and my papers. Okay, so I have some papers here. And so the kit I'm going to be playing with is my knockoff version of the Pink Paislee Auburn Lane, and I will have a video linked below of how I created this kit. And I think the reason this stood out for me because I'm going to be doing a 2-page spread about Charleston again, and I've already used this kit, and I don't know, it just kind of gives me that mood and feel, so I'm just going to keep on playing with it. Yes, okay. And so of course, not only do I have everything I need in this kit, I mean, look at this stack of papers. Do I even need to get out of my seat? No, I don't. I love that. I have such a pack of, this is absolutely a paper pad of papers that I have in my kit. I will never get tired of that. No, and then along with that, I have my thickers and my alphas, and then I have stickers, and then feast your eyes on this. Yes, this was all part of my kit. And so someone had asked me when I'm playing with a kit that I've had bagged up, what do? I simply just open up the bags and I put them on a photo box lid. Now this is a 12 by 12 photo box lid, but I use any size. You know, it's just whatever I have. And then when I'm done, I just put it back on the container that it goes to. Easy and quick, and that's me. Yes, absolutely. I don't want to spend time gathering supplies. I want to spend my time playing with the supplies. And so for this page, not only am I going to be using this knockoff version, but also too, when I saw this photo, of course, something popped in my brain, and what would it be? It would be this brick background paper. Now, how does that happen for me? I don't know. I honestly think it's because I'm always in my supplies, meaning I'm always looking through something, whether it's my papers or my embellishments or my thickers. I'm always going through something. So whenever I'm going through something, you know, something's going to stick in your brain. So I think when you get out of that habit of just buying, and you're using things that you already own, just stay in your memory bank. I think that. Now, with this paper here, these came from an American Crafts paper pad called Country Rustic. I mean, very, very great backgrounds. And so this is the brick background I'm going to use, and this is the photo that prompted me to go get these papers. And so, love that. And this is part of my specialty papers, and I will have a video coming up, and we're going to talk more about specialty papers and how I have them grouped in my paper categories. Absolutely. Okay, because to me, this is a specialty paper. Yes, absolutely. Okay, and of course, you can see in some of my photos, I have the presence of all of that brick because we were at the city market that day. And so that is what I'm adding to my kit. And I've said that in other videos. Don't be afraid to add to a kit. Just because you put a kit together doesn't mean you can't add things to it. Absolutely. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be doing. And again, all the links for Becky, Laura, Dollie, and Lisa will be linked below. I'll hop over and see what they're doing today for the Multi-Photo Monday series. And I'm going to be coming back in just a minute, and I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to tackle these 12 photos. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of photo talk. Okay, so hang on. I will be right back. Okay, since this is a multi-photo Monday layout, yes, let's talk about the photos for a minute, shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay, so let me move my papers here. And so what would be the process for me when I have a 2-page layout and I have a lot of photos? So what do I do? Well, for me, I simply, in a quick manner, I will simply just put them whether they are in the horizontal or the vertical, and then that will help me get a sense as to my placement on my layout, because I'm not using a sketch, because I'm using these in a 4x6 size. And of course, this is going to be a photo of a souvenir we bought there at the city market, which was a Christmas ornament. And so I'm pretty sure this will probably go in that vertical. And so that's what I do. I simply just separate them out, whether it's going to be a horizontal shot or vertical. And then within my horizontal, I will see what I have duplicates of. Yes, okay. And so of course, this is not, okay. And so I have two, this of the sweetgrass, and I'm absolutely using both of these because that is one of the main attractions at the city market and of Charleston in and of itself. And so I will probably cut down, I won't cut down that one because it has the carriage and the building itself. And this is an example of what I'm talking about. So we have three photos, and they're all about the market. So which one would I include and which one would I take away? Well, they're basically from 3 different angles. And so of course this one, it has the market and the carriage. So this one is definitely staying, okay? Because you can clearly see that the market is plopped in the middle of the town of Charleston. And then of course with these two, I liked how it was an open air type of market, and then this shows more about the entrance. That's the beginning of the city market, and this right here. And then of course we have some rickshaws. So of course that's going to stay. There's a part of the horsey. So I may not cut any of those down. Of course I have some dead space, but you know what? This isn't for the magazine. This is for me. So I'm going to probably keep all of them. And then with my vertical, and see, this is why I'm probably going to do an insert. Well, not probably. I am going to do an insert because I want to keep these. I don't know when I'm going to get back to Charleston. I don't know when I'm going to get back to this city market. And it was a very special day for us. And so I'm going to probably just, I'm just going to leave them 4x6 unless, you know, I might cut some of this 2 inches. But, you know, when you have a vertical like this right here, you can cut 2 inches here, 2 inches here. It's not going to matter, you know, or an inch at the top, inch at the bottom, okay? And so that will probably, on the vertical, these will probably be the ones that make my insert, okay? And I know that going in. Okay, so there is 5, okay? Love this photo of the quilts. Oh, man, do they have beautiful stuff at that city market. And that city market has been around. I think it's one of the oldest markets, city markets in the country. Amazing. Okay, so now when I'm working with my 2-page spread, I have to tell myself, okay, this is probably, these are going to make on my insert. So how many do I have here? Oh, I have 6. Well, no, that'll be great. You know why? Because I can do a lead-in page with 2 special ones, or I can absolutely do 3 and 3. So it's totally what I want to do. Now, what I'm going to do, wait, no. Oh, I have 7. Well, smack me sideways. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do for sure. This is going to be a lead-in photo. Okay, and then I have 2 sweetgrass basket photos. One will be the left, one will be the right. And this is exactly what I do when I'm working on a page. I divvy up my photos before I start playing with my design. Okay, and so then I have 3 of the markets. So one is definitely going to, we're going to put this here, and we're going to put these here, and that is how quick that's done. Bing, bang, boom. This is my left, this is my right, here's my insert. And that's how I do you know, the process of when I'm working with my photos. I will absolutely plan them out before I didn't even start pulling any papers or anything. No, that is my left, this is my right, this is my insert, and now I'm ready to play. Didn't take very long. So when you're doing that and you have, I had 12 photos, okay? You have to decide, okay, am I doing a 1-page or 2-page? Then you have to take away photos of, you know, to fit that. And then of course, you know, since I do not want to take away any photos, I'm going to do an insert, because I had said that in one of my layout shares. With an insert, I can include more photos, but I don't have to invest the time and the energy and the supplies to do another 2-page. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an insert. And inserts for me are a 6x12 size, and I'll show more about that. And they will, verticals work very well for that. Okay, because I don't really want to cut too much down. Okay, love that. Okay, and this is just going to be one of my souvenirs. Okay, because I believe it is already packed away in my Christmas supplies. So that'll be coming out in a week or two. Well, a couple weeks. And so I'll just snap a photo of it when I get that out, of my Christmas decorations. Okay, so there's my left, there's my right. I'm ready to get started. Okay, so come back. I will have a finished page. Okay, I am back with my finished spread because I did indeed create an insert, and I will talk about that in just a little bit because I have a couple tips when it comes to creating an insert, and so we'll talk about that. So let's talk about my papers for my 2-page spread right here, because honestly I used one piece of paper here on the left and one piece of paper here on the right. That's all I used. It doesn't look like that because of the mood and feel that this brick pattern paper gave me, and I talk a lot of that. I talk about that a lot in my videos because that is my scrapbooking style. I am what I consider simple but embellished. That is my style, and my main embellishment is my pattern paper because I love paper. I love buying paper. I love using paper. And this is a prime example where this brick background, I don't know if I can get both of these in at once, but this is the, the brick background creates my entire mood and feel. And all I'd used was a piece of paper. I didn't have to do anything to it. I didn't have to treat it. I didn't have to do anything to it. Just cut it down a little bit. And so this brick pattern paper came from a American Crafts paper pad called Country Rustic. And I know some of you have that. Yes, I do. It's a beautiful piece of paper. Now, it's not heavy weight enough to serve as a total background. That's why I had to use this craft color cardstock for stability, because this just isn't going to cut it because of everything I have on here. So on the left, what do? I had 3 photos, and again, if you notice, they'll be in a grid fashion. We talked about that in our go-to designs. And then here for my title, I just used my alphas that was in my kit, and these I'm going to call them, what would we call them? Not a rose gold. Maybe a copper. We'll call it copper. This was the thicker set that I used, and I used that on the left and the right, and I'll show that. But this was the thicker set I used. Very, very nice. Love these foam thickers. You don't have to use extra adhesive, and then you can manipulate them to fit the space you need. And so, of course, this is what it says, City Market Adventure, because that is where we were. And then, of course, my embellishment here, because you notice I don't have embellishments, I don't have anything here on these photos. This is my main embellishment because I am doing a spread. I don't need a visual triangle on my left page. I want, because I'm doing a spread, it's going to be spread across 2 pages, okay? So I just have this main cluster here, which ties in with my title, and I just used a die-cut flower. That was from that Maggie Home set that was in my kit. And then also I added a paper clip with a key. And why key? Well, it's vintage, that type of thing, but also, too, because it's the city market, and what is given a lot, the mayor gives the key, excuse me, the key to the city, So I just did a little bit of play on that. And then I just took a cut apart and cut it in half. And I used half on the left, half on the right, and a little label sticker. And so this looks, this has such a great impact. And I want you to look at the snapshot at the end of the video. It really is just a few, it's just a few number of supplies. It's just a die cut on foam with a paper clip, a sticker, a little paper die cut, and 3 braids. Now these braids, and again, notice that in the snapshot at the end of the video, is that they're square braids. I'm not a square type person. I may act square at times. But I did these and I turned them on an angle so my square braids actually look like a diamond, because that fits more of my mood and feel than the square. Okay. Now I do want to say one more thing about this paper, because I said it creates my mood and feel. And then also, too, it's part of what I consider a specialty paper, and I'll have a video coming up next week at this time talking about specialty papers. It's a short video, so hop over and see that. And then also, too, when you're dealing with these kind of designs for a background, this is brick, okay? So it's a random. Brick is never even, okay, when you get the mortar and that type of thing. And yes, I do know a little bit about brick because my families are masons and carpenters. So yes, I do know a little bit about brick. And so the mortar that you put in between is never even. It's never straight. So the same way when you're dealing with this type of background, this specialty brick, when you put something on here, it's not going to look even. I have looked at this title 3 or 4 different ways and 3 or 4 different angles, and I can tell you it doesn't look straight because of the background of the brick. It's not in a linear straight fashion. So when you're dealing with this type of background, your titles are going to look a little wonky. But if you use your T-square and I have mine here. If you use your T-square and you line it up and it lines up, it's fine. Don't worry about, because this brick and things of this nature, this design will make your it will play tricks on your eyes, so it will not look even. That's okay, don't worry about that. Okay, and then of course I just added some lace ribbon here. And then if you notice on my brick background, I just cut a 3/4 of an inch off here. And where is that? Right here. I absolutely used that paper scrap as an embellishment, and also to tie off. I wanted this kept separate, and you'll see why when I did my insert. And I just took this paper scrap, honestly, from the same piece of paper, put it on foam tape, and there you go. Now you have a decorative element, and all it was a paper scrap. Love that. Okay, now let's talk about the right here on the page. Again, I took that brick paper and I cut down, and you see that. Notice there's that paper scrap again, because if you look below, what do you see? My photos are in a grid fashion. Yes. So we had talked about that in our go-to designs in our last segment, that you absolutely can use your photos as part of your design, and they can be in a grid. And that's exactly what I did here on the right and here on the left. They're my grid. Okay. And then of course up here, I used this paper scrap on foam tape. Love that. Didn't have to have any additional anything. And then I used those thicker sets again. Beautiful color. Okay. And then I used 2 of them, and I put them together to say wander around, because when you're at a flea market, city market, that type of thing, what do? You're just wandering around seeing what you find. And again, of course, I used a flower die cut and another die cut that was in my kit, and these brads again on that diamond angle. That's what I did. And of course, I covered up my brads with washi. Okay, and that was something else I wanted to show, that since we've been working on our layout lunch date and I've been putting layouts away, one thing you can do when you're using ribbon on your pages, also you can use washi to cover up the tails of your ribbon. It goes into your page protector much easier. So I wanted to share that little bit of tip. Okay, now you'll see on this right page, what do I have? Just 4 photos and a little bit of embellishments, but together this makes a beautiful. I absolutely love this. Okay, did not take very long to do, because it's not complicated. It's just that my brick paper created my mood and feel. And I don't know if I said this, but I will have some additional videos, start to finish videos linked below, that talk more specifically about mood and feel in some actual layout. So I'll show that. And then of course with my journaling block, it's going to go here. I made sure that it's overlapping my title so it doesn't look disconnected there. And then if you notice, I have paper tearing on the top and the bottom of my journaling block, and that's exactly, my journaling is going to go on top of that, okay? Because I'm going to put white on top of white. And you'll also notice that I have white and cream on this layout. Doesn't matter. Mix it all. Have fun. Yes. And now someone had asked me about just paper tearing, and it was Lisa. And Lisa had just recently said to me, how do you get a straight edge when you're doing paper tearing? Because I can never get a straight edge. And I said, yes, that was me. There was many, many times I have done paper tearing and I couldn't get an even edge to save my life. So I have a little thing here I wanted to show. So what I use primarily, if I want a small paper tear, because this is a small paper tear, it doesn't look a lot, but in person it makes I think I just spit there. Sorry. It makes it for a nice even. And so all I use is, I have this Plaid metal ruler, and it's by the maker of Plaid, but it's metal. I think nowadays I make them in plastic. I'll have a link below if you want to see what paper tearing rulers are about. And I simply have this one edge. It's paper tearing, but it's a very simple paper tearing, and it just gives you a little bit of something. And so how you use that is that you would just put this down where you want this tear. Okay, and then you hold this, and then you just, of course I'm left-handed, and you simply go in a small movement, and that's how you do your paper tearing. Okay, very, very simple. Again, I'll have a link below. Now someone, I had read, I don't know, last year that someone couldn't find these anymore, but I know that Anna Griffin sometimes has those on the Home Shopping Network, and I think they're actually by Plaid. But mine is metal, but you can find them in plastic. Now, the ones that come now in plastic, they come with a water pen. Yeah, I wouldn't even bother with a water pen. I've never had a water pen that works. So, but all you need is that edge. Go slow. You can get some paper tear in. And then also, too, they have other ones, too. So, it's kind of like our decorative scissors, but now in a ruler form. Yes, okay. So, I wanted to show that because Lisa had asked, and that was a great question, Lisa, so thank you for asking. Okay, so I think I'm looking at my notes here. I haven't even looked at my notes, but I wrote a whole page. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, other than Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I followed my whole notes. Boy, that never happens. Okay, let's talk about the inserts. Because on this multi-photo Monday spread, I got 12 photos. Yes, I did. That rocks. That never hurts. No. Okay, so my insert will look like this. Okay, and so just pretend that these are in a page protector. They're back to back, and this is what my insert will look like in my album. And so here's my left. Here is my top of my insert right here, and then when I would flip this page protector over, this would be a 6x12, and I'm going to show that in just a minute. This is what you would see, okay? And so again, that's why I have this white mat here for my journaling, and then it just ties in my my spread. And then if you notice, when I flip my insert over, my title is still here. So that's why when I do inserts, I like to do my title over here in a vertical fashion, because then when I flip this insert, okay, because this will be flipped, and I'll show this, when this flips over, because it's going to cover up that, then I still have this spread with my title in conjunction with my right hand page. So that's why I like doing my inserts that way. But you can do an insert any which way you want. Now with my insert here, and I'm going to move this just for a minute, with my insert here, and I have a couple tips because I've done these for years, and there's a couple things I've learned, a couple mistakes I've made when it did an insert. Now mine are just 6x12 because I use these Becky Higgins 6x12 page protectors. I hope I don't get a glare there. But what I wanted to say is I got 5 more additional photos, and I just left a space here because this is where the ornament that when I do my tree this year, when I get it out, I'll snap a photo and stick it there. And because that is what we bought. Well, we only bought one thing at that market. Could have bought a lot, but man, oh man, beautiful. Okay, so what papers did I use for this? Okay, and I'll move this just for a minute. The papers I used, this gingham, is actually an authentic summer paper, and it's from, I just had that here, it's from the Cheerful line. So if I flip it over, some of you'll know, yes, that's the Cheerful authentic paper, and that's the gingham. Okay, and I just recently did a video on tartan versus plaid versus check design, so I'll have that video linked below, and very, very fun stuff. And then also to this advertising paper, that is the back side of a hopscotch, because on the reverse of this is another gingham, and it's pink, okay, but it's the backside was an advertising piece, okay, and that's from a Fancy Pants, the hopscotch. That was a long time ago. Oh, 2012, yes. Okay, so that's what I did. Okay, so here's a couple tips when you are working with an insert, okay, is that you absolutely need to pull out your page protector first before you start working on an insert. And I'm getting glare, sorry about that. And the reason why is that because not all page protectors are made the same. Every manufacturer has a different size, meaning the inside dimensions are never the same across the board. So I've learned over the years, because I'll sit here in the past, I will have done a 6x12 spread or layout, whatever you want to call inserts, and then it didn't fit my page protector, and I was going to have to cut down. And you notice that some of my embellishments go to the edge. Well, I didn't want to cut things down, so I learned over the years to make sure my papers fit my insert before I start playing with an insert, okay, if that makes sense. So make sure, like this is 6x12, so I know with these Becky Higgins, okay, they're a tight, snug fit. I always have to cut my paper down a hair from that 6x12, because once you get the addition of some lump and bump and some paper layers, it will not accommodate. That's just a trick I've learned. And then also too, the other trick I've learned is that when I'm doing an insert back to back, before I start doing anything, I'll take my 6x12. Now, if this is great, if you have a piece of paper where you like the front and the back, then you can absolutely use the back, you know, save yourself another piece of paper for the back of your insert. But I didn't have that option. I wanted this, okay? And so what you can do before you start playing around with your photos and stuff, make sure both of these papers line up exactly right, because in your page protector, if they're not, then you're going to see the back of that. Okay, does that make sense? And there are times where I will take an adhesive and I will absolutely run a couple lines of adhesive here, and then I make sure that they pair up exactly, and then I put them in the page protector, okay? So they're not individual layouts. I will sometimes adhere them together. And in this case, I probably will, because I really do not want to see any of this red and green on my spread, okay? And so then, along with that, make sure you leave some room. I have a note here. Oh, yes. When you're doing these inserts, especially with this Becky Higgins brand, they're a snug, tight fit. So if you get some lump and bump on your, if you're starting using dimensional supplies, you're going to have to make sure you cut this down just even more of a little bit of a sliver because it just won't accommodate. So with a 6x12 page protector, you just have less wiggle room than you do a 12x12 page protector. So when you're doing an insert, and if you've done smaller page protectors, you know what I'm talking about, okay? And I think that's what I wanted to show. And so, of course, these just will go in my page protector, okay? And you see how smooth they go in? That's because I've learned over the years I needed to cut them down a little bit because they say they're a 6x12, but you can't get a 6x12 in there. Especially if you add some supplies and photos and die cuts and things like that. No, they just don't fit. So I've learned that over the years, okay? But again, I will purposely, I will adhere these two pieces of paper together for this very reason. I don't want to see that red and green. I do not want to see that at all on my page. So I will adhere that. Okay, so then also too on my page protector, I kept this pretty much flat, okay, in my insert, okay? This is the front. And all I did was take two pieces of pattern paper, gave one a mat, and then I used photo corners just to give it a little bit of embellishment without too much bulk. And then I tied in those, I'm going to call them magnolia flowers. I don't know if that's what they're called. And again, I added that braid, and then I covered that braid in washi because it would get hung up. But my embellishment is just a die cut and a sticker, okay? Now, I wanted to say with these leaves on my spread, and this is something I learned from Laura Whitaker, is that don't be afraid to cut up things. Okay, so if you notice, I think it was this one, yes, or this one. I cut off two of the leaves on this die cut, so I would have some leaves on this one, okay? So don't be afraid to cut up something from one flower to use for another flower, okay? And same with the back. These leaves here, this was cut off from the right-hand page. See this big hunk and die cut right here? I didn't need all that. The bottom half of that was going to get lost, and so I thought, well, I'll cut it off. You use it. And so then I did that to make sure that those color leaves would tie in, and I just tucked them underneath that. So don't be afraid to cut up your die cuts to get them to have the design you want or the color, okay? So don't be afraid to do that. Okay, so that is my insert. Again, 5 photos. Oh, and one more tip. Okay, when you're doing with an insert and say, this is the front of my insert, and I have a braid here. Of course, braids create bulk. So when I flip this over, I wanted to put a braid about right here, and I can't. Why? Because it's going to create too much bulk, because that braid is exactly, the braid is right here. Okay, so I really can't because it's going to add too much bulk. So when you're doing things that are the front and the back, and if you've done Project Life spreads, you know what I'm talking about. You have to be very mindful of your bulk on the front because you can't put that bulk in the same place on the back, okay? And so for my inserts, I know that I have to be very mindful of that because then it gets too bulky and then you get lump and bump in one area on a page, okay? And that doesn't work long term when it comes to storage. So I think that is all I wanted to say. Boy, man. I just talk. Sorry about that. Okay. But that is what my multi-photo Monday spread came out to be. 12 photos, okay? So make sure you check in with Becky and Laura and Dollie and Lisa and see what they created as well for this multi-photo Monday. And their links will be below. So this is what my spread looks like. So in the page protector, I don't know if I can get this all in. This is what you'll see, okay? You'll see this and the addition of this, okay? So it just makes a spread, and that's what we call a spread, eyes going left to right. And then when this is 6x12, I flip it over, and this is what you see, okay? Now let me put that in a page protector so you can get more of a visual, because I got some questions about that when I shared it in my layout lunch date. So let me get the front and the back, and I'll put these in. But I will tell you, these 6x12s, yes, make sure you accommodate for lump and bump, and also 2 layers, because a 6x12 paper will not fit in a 6x12 page protector. How that works, don't ask me. I don't know. Okay, so this is what you'll see in my album. I hope I'm in frame. Okay, this is what you see. So again, when I do an insert, I pay attention to where my title is, because no matter that this part's covered up, I still get the full effect of my spread. Okay, and I flip this over, again, still get the full effect. Love how that looks. So you see this floral, see how it ties in, and then no matter which way you're looking at my insert, that floral spreads across, okay? Again, minimal amount of embellishments, and again, use things from a kit, so it went very, very quick. Okay, so that is my start to finish for my multi-photo Monday using 12 photos. Well, 11. I just have to add the other one, but I can do that in a week or two. Okay, that's all I have for today. Come back in a couple of days because we'll be talking about the band design in our go-to series. We're going to keep on working with that, but I wanted to stop in and do this because Becky had asked, could I stop in and do it? And absolutely love how it turned out. Okay, and I love reminiscing, and I sure wish I had some of the lemonade that was at that city market. It was awesome. Okay, that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.